Sandy, also known as Bougie Babe, from your favorite group, Split Three Ways. Tonight's soul session, I'm going to have a one-on-one with my brother Kendall. You guys saw him earlier this week when we did our little video on the streets about natural versus fake. And I've had some of you guys actually DM me and ask me to get some questions from men about the dating world. Some of the ladies out there want to know what's up with the men. And you guys gave me a few questions, so I got three of the hottest questions that I felt would be good and get some in-depth answers. I got my boy here, and he's going to sit here, you're going to chop it up with me. Kendall, you want to say anything to the people? Introduce yourself.
Hi, Kendall, KD. I feel fortunate to be on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Okay, so the first question we're going to talk about is, what do you find is the most difficult aspect of dating? Tell people.
The thing about dating is, right? So, if you're seriously dating, you're dating to end up with one person and spend the rest of your life with one person.
Right.
But in that, you're going to go through a lot of different relationships, dating experiences, and with that comes failures. It comes disappointments, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I think the hardest part about dating is meeting somebody and getting them to be fully vulnerable, fully open, because they've been through those disappointments, they've been through those failures. So you typically meet a person in their most guarded space,
True.
right? Because you want to protect your emotions after you've been through a heartbreak.
Right.
You do, and you should.
Right.
But when you add on all of those different experiences, it makes you that much more guarded. So I think the most difficult part of dating is getting somebody to like fully open up and fully give you a fair opportunity in getting to know them, because they are guarded, and expectedly so and understandably, but that's really difficult to get somebody to just be fully vulnerable in that space of like, this is truly who I am, and this is truly a fair opportunity to get to know me.
Okay. You all don't mind the background noise. My neighbor is coming home. I'm sorry for that. So the next question that you guys gave us is, what burning question do you, KD, have for women that will help make the dating world easier for you?
I think that the question that I would have to any woman I date is, what's the most important element of a successful relationship?
Ooh, that's a good question. You might want to look at the camera and ask the ladies that.
I'm just asking, what's the most important element to a successful, sustaining relationship?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because that's the thing I need to know. So that's the thing I can focus on in us getting to know each other, so we can have, you know what I mean, a successful process,
Okay. So ladies, you guys gotta, from the first answer that I got, he wants you to open up so that he can really get to know who you are. And then he wants to know what's most important to you to make your relationship successful.
Yeah. What element is going to help us nurture this? Going to help us grow this, you know what I mean, and help us sustain this in the long run. Like, so for some people it's gonna vary. It's gonna be different for every person you meet. You know what I mean? For me, it's, if someone was to ask me that, it's gonna be communication.
Okay.
Communication is the most successful key to a relationship to be sustainable and successful for me.
Okay.
It's gonna be communication, but I know that varies for people. So the woman that I meet, when I meet you, I'm gonna ask you, what's the most important element for you, for us to be successful?
Okay. All right. That's 2 questions down. Now the last question I have is, what one thing would you like women to know about men that can help make the dating world easier for you? What is it that we really need to know to help us create successful relationships and just to operate easier in the dating world? And look at the camera and tell them, because I want them to get that eye to eye.
Whoa. So this one is a hard one.
Okay.
So this one is a hard one. And I would say, what you need to know is that you need to have patience with us, right?
Okay.
Most of us come from backgrounds, environments where we don't necessarily have examples of what it takes to make a sustainable relationship.
Okay.
We don't have those examples. We come from broken homes.
Okay.
Sometimes pops ain't even there.
Okay.
Sometimes pops not even there.
Okay.
So we don't see these examples of what it takes to build a successful relationship.
Okay.
So you gotta have a little bit of patience in that, you know what I mean? And not to say like you gotta be moms in the relationship, but you have to bring a teaching element. Teach me how to love you, because I don't know that. Like if I didn't see that example, you know what I mean? Like,
you don't know how to love.
I don't know. Like,
okay.
So in that, teach me how to love you, but also have some patience with me.
Okay.
Because, like I said, a lot of brothers come from broken homes. Pops wasn't there.
Okay.
If mom's is there, she working her ass off. So
Okay.
you don't see these examples of successful, sustainable relationships.
Okay.
So without that, like, how am I supposed to know?
Okay.
You know, so when you give me an opportunity to get to know you, you give me an opportunity to be with you, you give me an opportunity to grow with you. Also in that, teach me what it's going to take to love you.
Okay. I'm glad to hear you say that you want to be taught, and it shows that you are open and willing to learn. But I'm gonna ask a personal question. Why does it, you're willing to learn and you're open to it, but why does it seem that so many other men are closed off? Because one of the biggest things that I hear from my girls is that men don't want to open up. Men don't want to be serious. And they don't want to come to the table with anything. They want us to buy the table, build the table, put the food on the table, but they're not bringing anything.
So here's the thing about it, right? So as men, especially black men, we've been taught and we've been processed to kind of have this understanding that we're supposed to be uberly tough. We're supposed to be overly tough, right? So sometimes being emotional is against everything we've learned of survival.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. That's
So
fair.
when we get into a relationship and you guys want us to be vulnerable and you want us to open up, I'm all for it, me personally. You know what I mean? Like, and truly, I shouldn't be speaking for somebody else, but this is just what I see. You know what I mean? It's hard for society to be so tough on you. Everything you've ever had to do, it came with being tough.
Okay.
Then you get into a situation and you're supposed to just be super fragile and vulnerable. It's like, how does this work? Like, everything I've taught is like, the only way I survive is to be super tough. But in this situation, I'm supposed to be like super fragile and vulnerable. Like, how does that work? You know what I mean? So it's really just pre-existing conditions.
Okay.
Things that we've been taught. You know what I mean? Like,
well, also you've been taught to be tough, but how do you? For me, I guess it would be hard to be vulnerable and be able to show your woman that you can be tough and be the man in a relationship.
You can.
Because you just, that's what you are. You're the man.
You can, right? Like, but this is what I me personally, like, being emotional don't take away from my manhood, right? Like, if I go through something and it affects me emotionally, reflecting those emotions don't take away from my manhood. Like,
that's you, though. Unfortunately, a lot of men feel like it does, though.
Yeah, but
they feel like it swipes their man card automatically.
Yeah, and brothers, we need to get away from that. But
tell them that in the camera.
They heard me, but for me, I'm not like that. Like, I know I'm a man regardless of any of that. Like, I'm always gonna be a man. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I do understand why some fellas, you know, because the pressure of being tough, surviving these streets, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Making something of yourself, like, that's a lot to carry on your shoulders. And then you get home and your woman wants you to be like this super fragile, vulnerable person. It's hard. It's hard to balance. But, you know, the thing about life is it's pursuit of balance. It's finding balance in every situation you're in. So
every situation, definitely. Well, Kendall, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Pleasure.
Thank you for sharing with my people. It's your girl Bougie Babe. I'm out. Y'all heard it from the man himself. Now next week, we're going to flip it and we're going to talk to the ladies. I'm going to see if I can find another fella to get us some more answers. But next week, ladies, it's our turn to speak. Deuces.